Hello YouTube, welcome to Lifestyle Aesthetics where we teach you how to level up consistently over time. So today's video we are going to work up our arms, shoulders, and a little bit of legs. Starting off with hammer curls, doing them at a lighter weight with 30 pounds. And I'm trying not to bring the weight with the shoulders, but trying to keep them stiff, keeping my arms stiff, locking in my elbows so that way I can work on my biceps and forearms. So I'm doing two drop sets. So two sets of drop sets. So starting with 30 pounds, and then I'm lowering down the weight with 22.5 point 0.5 pounds. This exercise has actually helped me blow up my forearms and my biceps along with the way to pull-ups, but that will be for another video. So then after that, we are doing Skullcrushers on the flat bench. I've realized that doing these on a flat bench is much better than doing them on an incline bench. So I'm starting off with 50 pounds, trying to keep the grip close to each other at the first set of the grooves of this barbell to help me push out and be comfortable with the weight and the way I'm positioning myself to do this exercise. So just like the other exercise we just did, I'm doing two sets of drop set. Starting on with the heavier weight, 50 pounds, doing skull crushers to work up the triceps, and then I will lower the weight to 40 pounds. I'm trying to keep my back straight, not to wiggle too much on the bench, and I'm also trying to be mindful of me lowering down the weight behind my head at a slow pace and then exploding back up as I'm pushing it away from the bench. So these are good to grow your triceps, especially the long head of the tricep. So doing this with a close grip definitely does its magic. So on this part, I'm just doing a last burnout set of 40 pounds, trying to do as many reps as I can until failure because I've just done the 50 pounds. This will definitely be good for the triceps. Close grip is the magic, is the way to go. Triceps takes 2/3 of the arm. So here I am doing lighter weight, and this time I'm leading with the elbows to do the lateral raises. So I'm trying to do these until failure. 10 reps is the way to go. Two drop sets of these. So from 20 pounds, I will lower it to 70.5 pounds. So on this arm day, I like to include the shoulders because biceps and triceps are a great part of the arm, but sometimes we don't always include the shoulders because we would either do it mixed with a push day or a pull day. So I'm trying to be mindful of trying to include my shoulder muscle group as well. So as you see, I'm trying to turn my wrist, leaning with the elbow. This subtle change actually works more of the lateral head. You're gonna feel the difference once you try it this way. Um, this is pretty good for the lateral part of the deltoid, the middle head of the deltoid. So again, dropping it to 70.5 pounds, leaning with the elbow. Make sure to turn that wrist just slightly towards yourself and leading with the elbows. This is going to work a lot. Trust me, you're going to feel the burn. And then after this exercise, we're going to be on the bench and doing real delt flies. So I've noticed that when I've turned the dumbbell into a fist pronated grip, this is actually more of a burnout. I will feel it more on my rear deltoids when I pull the dumbbells away from each other. So two drop sets of these, it's good for the rear shoulders. So I started with 30 pounds and then lowered to 20. That's my two sets of drop set. So I've noticed that the cable machine was actually free for once in this gym. Gym is always busy. So I started doing lateral raises with the cable machine. So done I've done the weights for 10 reps on 30 pounds and then decrease it to 25 pounds. So I'm trying to be mindful of the way I position my hands because eventually one is going to dominate the other depending on how you do these cable machines. So trying to make sure the first set I do with my right hand over my left and then the left over my right hand. And then I'm doing my rear shoulders. So these are like flies on a cable machine. Trying to hold it and squeeze it at the top. And then when I release, I am doing it slow. This works out also your traps and your upper back as well. This is just an added bonus for everything that we've done today, right? Trying to keep that arm day pretty pretty packed up. But if remember, if you do too much volume, you're fatiguing your muscles more, and it's not good for the muscle growth. So I'm trying to be mindful of keeping these to 2 sets of the drop set. So that way, while I am doing these exercises, when you do too much volume, right, too many working sets, at that point you will have diminishing returns because you're already fatiguing yourself and not having enough time to rest. So 2 sets of drop sets is the way to go on a good day. You can do extra for fun. I just wanted to add a little bit more of these working sets. So with these tricep push downs, I'm trying to hold it still at the bottom, but now I'm locking my elbow, dropping the weight a little bit. Trying to be mindful of the way I'm doing my form. Trying to make sure that I go down very slow and then the way up as well. So we did Skullcrusher. So this is the working the shoulder head of the tricep. Trying to make sure my elbows are locked in. So here we do bicep curls. So in the beginning we did hammer curls that works on the forearms and the bicep, but this works at the other head. So the bicep has 2 heads. This works out the shoulder head of the bicep and the forearms as well. But here, this is with the easy easy bar grip. So trying to hold that at the top, locking in my elbows and releasing slowly as I do these, right? And then I have dropped the weight, doing this again with perfect form, trying to make sure that I feel the burn on my biceps. So we did the first one for 10 reps. And then when I decrease the weight, just trying to reach till failure until I cannot do any more of these bicep curls. That's going to help me grow the muscle a little bit more, trying to get that aesthetic shape. And then we moving on to some leg press machines. So this works out a little bit the glutes, the hamstrings, a little bit of the hamstrings. So I'm doing 7 plates on each side, trying to make sure that I am pushing a little bit fast, but then when I'm doing it towards me, it's going down slow. And then hamstring curls, leg curls, this works at the hamstrings, a little bit of the calves. Same concept. As I go down on the exercise, I'm trying to make sure that they are moving slow. Okay, and then trying to release in a controlled manner as well, so that way each rep actually counts. All right. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok and on Instagram. And comment down below what exercises you like to do as your favorite arm day. Okay, I will catch you in the next video.